Thank you. Turn it on. No. Okay, now you can hear me, for better or for worse. Okay, so are we ready? Okay, let's move. Thank you and welcome to the third of our annual State of the Parish presentations. We've been doing this now every July. And let's review the agenda for the rest of the day. Yes, please, next slide. There we go. So we've just completed prayer and adoration. Let's see, still having technical problems. Okay. All right. We are trying to live stream this at the same time and record it for future viewing on the parish website. So there's always a little bit of coordination that has to be done. And I think we're there. Okay, thank you, Frank. So for the rest of the morning, we're going to give some updates on parish operations. Then we're going to get an update on our pastoral vision, which includes the 3 points that you see there on the screen: amazing worship experiences, forming missionary disciples, and performing works of charity, mercy, and justice. Then we'll sum it up and talk about next steps, followed by a question and answer session, and then lunch in the Holy Family picnic area. So to begin the parish updates, I'd like to introduce our parish business manager, Gina Mehta.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I have been with St. Joseph Parish as the business manager for 20 years. We have a lot of information to share with you today, so we hope that you stay awake all throughout our presentation, okay? All right, let me start with the sacramental register. Our data shows that our baptisms have a 15% increase comparing last year versus 2021. The rest of our sacraments have an average of 18 to 40% decline comparing those same 2 years. Our year-to-date data will increase by the end of the year since we still have 5 more months left. Let's move on to the financial update. The financial statement as of May 31 is on the website. Our plate collection is 39% lower than the same time last year. It's mainly due to few families who moved out of Fremont, and they used to donate an average of 10% of our plate collection. Last year, we also received a large bequest, unlike this year. When people give to a project, some may give less to the plate collection. Historically, when we ask for more donations for different projects or special collections, we notice that the plate collection is impacted. Expenses are tracking to budget but are 11% higher than the same time last year because our diocesan assessment is 79% higher based upon our 2021 financial statement. That year, we received generous donations for our beautification projects that were not part of the capital campaign. Therefore, they were assessed this year by the diocese. Early expenses include trimming of more than 50 palm trees, rectory termite fumigation, and grounds cleanup along the creek. Lower income and higher expenses have resulted in a parish budget of $187,000 as of May 31. And 70% of the deficit was from those families who moved out of Fremont. As you can see, here is the list of our operating accounts from the local bank account to our diocesan account, and it has a balance total of more than 2.1 million. Next. Our church renovation project is doing very well. We have received 518,000 in pledges, with payments of 284,000 received to date. TBC unwinding process has received more than 3.1 million of repurposed donations and 932,000 of reclaimed donations. Donations given to the church project and repurposed TBC donations are restricted funds. Restricted funds are assurance for donors that the money that they give will go to the manner they desire. We are prohibited in reclassifying restricted funds to unrestricted funds. I'd like to clarify something particularly important to avoid confusion. Donations given to the church renovation project go to the renovation project, and it will not be used for any other operating expenses or needs, or any cost of the bankruptcy or ongoing lawsuits against the diocese. Next, please. Next, please. We have, there's the church renovation and Ministry House 1 renovation expenses as of May were 726,000. The church renovation and TBC accounts as of May 31 have a combined total of $6.8 million. I would like to express that the other donations for church contributions as your plate donations are always going to go to the operating needs and not for any other purpose. Our church is a spiritual home for all of us, which relies in our time, treasure, and talent. We are deeply grateful for all your continued support, your donations, and generosity to St. Joseph Church. If you need any additional information, you may find me at the parish office. So thank you for your time and for being here today. Let me introduce our new principal, Lori Lopez.
Thank you, Gina. As Gina said, my name is Lori Lopez, and I am the new principal at St. Joseph School. And the students all call me Mrs. Lopez. Even though I am new to the role as principal, I have actually worked at St. Joseph School almost 20 years, serving as the 2nd grade teacher, a 5th grade teacher, 7th grade ELA and homeroom, as well as the vice principal for the last 5 years. So this is a community with the mission, and it's a very special community for us here at the school. Next slide, please. So starting on August 17th, our new school year will begin. We have 201 students enrolled in our school this year that we're looking forward to educating, and we have room, as you can see, for a lot more students here at the school. Our teaching staff includes 17 amazing teachers in our transitional kindergarten through our 8th grade, and we have 6 very special learning support assistants who help in the classrooms TK through 5 to help support our younger students as they grow and develop, as well as a lot of office staff and others who are there to help us throughout the year. We are in the process of going through accreditation. We are accredited by the Western Catholic Education Association and by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. So most schools, public schools, are accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. For us, we also have that WCEA component because we are a Catholic school, and that identity is such an important part of our school. Our last visit, we'll have the certificates from that, was in 2018, and they do come and visit us every 6 years to make sure we're on the right track. So this year is our visiting year. The faculty and staff, as well as some parents and alumni, have been very busy. Fathers even put some input into our book, and the team will come visit us in the spring of 2024 to validate the work we are doing for our students. And so at the end of this, we hope to get our accreditation certificates. This is the one for the Western schools and colleges, and then this is our one that expresses our Catholic identity and how important that is for us. One of the important things is, for our school, we are here to educate our students. We want to create faith-filled students who are compassionate, creative, critical thinkers. And not only are we educating the whole student, but we also have a very strong academic program. And this graph here shows a comparison of the standardized tests our students take every year compared to Fremont Unified. And in this, we can see across all grade levels, our students excel in math and reading above Fremont Unified. So not only are they getting their faith, we're educating the whole child to be service members of our community, but we also have a very strong academic program to give our students. Next slide, please. Our financials, we do well. We have an annual budget of $204 million, and this includes $104,000 that we give in tuition assistance to make sure that Catholic education is not out of reach for any child who wants that education. We have a very strong community at our school. Many of our events, even during the pandemic, we managed to bring online, such as our Christmas program, Field Day, we did it online even though we couldn't get together. But those are now able to come back to our community. We even brought back our spaghetti dinner this past year as a wonderful fundraiser to help our 8th graders to go to Caritas Camp. So we're continuing to work to find those ways to bring our school and our parish community together. Many of our students work as altar servers and so on. Looking forward, our 5-year plan, we need to grow. So we're looking at our enrollment, our current enrollment, we have about 11 students in our TK. Our TK is capable of supporting 15 students, so we're looking to grow our youngest Catholics in our faith. We have 19 in our kindergarten, but we could support 25. In our 1st through 8th grade, we're having, 1st through 3rd grade, we have about 20 students, but we'd really like to have 30 in those classes. And in 4th through 8th, those are our largest grades, which is between 22 and 28 students, but we could have 30. So we're really looking to increase students, maybe 2 per grade, per year, really looking at those younger grades and increasing those. So if you know anybody who's got a little one, send them our way, because we'd really like to help educate those children in our faith. And so next up, another one who supports the youngest members of our community, Amazing Grace Lutaco, to tell us about Family of Faith.
Thank you, Lori. You did good. You said my name. You said my name right, because she was worried she would murder my name. And I said, don't, just say amazing. Next slide, please. I will be reporting, and good morning to everyone. I will be reporting for the Family of Faith, Confirmation, and Marriage Ministry. Our Family of Faith has been a program in the years past, and we just concluded the 2nd year, which is focused on sacraments. And now we're venturing into the 3rd year of Family of Faith, which is focused on the life of Jesus Christ. So we do have 35 catechists, helpers, aides, and volunteers that are running the Family of Faith, and we treasure and we are so blessed to have them with us. The Family of Faith is structured to have masses on each Sunday at 12 noon Mass. For the first Sunday and the 3rd Sunday of the month, we have Family of Faith. The entire families are here on the 1st Sunday of the month. And then we do have the parent session also. On the third Sunday is an additional sacramental Sunday for students that are preparing for the First Communion and First Reconciliation. This is also run by catechists that are volunteers that have volunteered an effort continuously to do a good job on the family of faith. Next. Not only do we have classroom activities, but we do have outreach and events program. And these are some of the events program that we did through the year. The traditional Christmas nativity was brought back this year after the pandemic. And then the St. Vincent de Paul, our children and family brought bags of food. And the Valentine cards, and which they took home with them, and they worked on it with the parents to get Valentine cards to the elderly and the homebound elderly people. The soup, I would like to mention, Family of Faith had taken one of the 9 Fridays to do the soup and Stations of the Cross, and each family took one station and was received well. Also, at the end of the year, the Family of Faith did a wonderful appreciation picnic for the youth and the children of all the Family of Faith and the parish. This includes the choir members of Ron McKean and the ushers and the altar servers. And we had a wonderful picnic sponsored by the men's club, and they did a barbecue, hamburger, and hot dog with all the fixings. So moving forward, we would like to build more towards the path of partnering with the school. So they have a lot of activities, like Lori mentioned. They have school night, golf tournament, Halloween trunk and treat. So we would like to do that with them. The next slide will be the confirmation to ministry. We had 21 confirmation 2 students and 18 confirmation 1 students last year. The success of the retreat in Mount Harmon was amazing. The students had an eye-opening experience with the retreat, and they came back with, hopefully, something that they can treasure for the rest of their lives. And the presider for the confirmation mass was our Vicar General, Father Lawrence Dianju. We brought the confirmation back to St. Joseph Parish here at the mission. And the year before, it was held in the Diocese of Oakland. This is the most important part of it. We would like to thank the 3 amazing people that have run the ministry under the direction of Father Anthony. And they're Ryan Lee, Richard Allen, and Josh Jeremiah. As we try to get and find the amazing and vibrant person to take on the ministry, the youth ministry, and I'd like to introduce Aaron Lovero, our new youth ministry coordinator.
Thank you. I'll keep this brief because I know a lot of people need to still speak. But my name's Aaron Lovero. I'm a product of St. Joseph's School. I graduated here. I also went through the confirmation program at St. Joseph. Richard will remember, he was my youth group leader a long time ago. And I used to screw around a lot, but I've grown up since then. So speaking of retreats, like Grace mentioned, my background is in a lot of things, but mainly retreat leadership. I worked at the program where our 6th and 8th graders go now. It's called Caritas Creek for 10 years. I was a counselor, I was a teacher naturalist, and I eventually became a site director there. I still bring the 6th and 8th grade back every year, and yesterday I just booked our new retreat for March. So I'm very excited for that. I'm going to bring a new and modern kind of fun twist to confirmation this year, because I know a lot of them are just there to hang out with their friends like I was. However, it's bigger than that. And thank you, Richard, for teaching me that back when I was a kid. But we're gonna have a bigger group this year because I'm reaching out to a lot of the alumni, because I'm also the 8th grade teacher. I've reached out to 4 alumni classes, and hopefully this will be a very big group. Father has said there's no cap, so I want to make sure that we have a huge group, and since there's no limit, let's make it big. If you know anybody who's high school aged, who's even done Confirmation 1 at another place, another church, or even at their high school, that's fine. They could do Confirmation 2 with us. And if they haven't started yet, they can do Confirmation 1 and 2 with us as well. So that's that.
Thank you, Aaron. And by the way, the registration is now online for both Family of Faith and Confirmation 1 and 2. Next slide. I'll be talking about the marriage ministry briefly. We have 3 couples in the Focus pre-marriage program, meaning they're preparing to get married, and Focus means facilitating open couple communication, understanding, and study. Real long. But the 3 couples completed this program, and then we offered a Lenten retreat for 33 days with 12 couples signing up, and it was open for the community, and they completed the 33 days of retreat via Zoom in the evenings. The Witness program, Witness to Love program, is under the marriage ministry, and this is about also the young couples trying to adventure and learn about getting married. We have 6 mentor couples, meaning these couples will guide the path of the future and young couples that are planning to get married through their lives, and make efforts to guide them and support them and be with them in life, in crisis of life and happiness of life moving forward. So if you're interested, young and planning to get married, please call the Faith Formation or the Family of Faith office, and we will be there for you to direct you. I'd like to introduce Vanessa Barrett, our administrator for mission and the communication expert.
Thank you, beautiful Grace. Yes, thank you for that warm welcome. I'm so happy to be here. So I just want to give you a broad stroke of what's going on at the mission. Last year we had an amazing 11,800 visitors. So we're very excited about that increase. We also had 110 school field trips. That's a lot of 4th graders. But that's up because the previous year we had 66. So we're seeing a lot of activity and rebirth from coming out of COVID. The number one source of our income remains as the admission fees, and we're about $109,000. The gift shop sales remain strong. They're trending the exact same as the previous year, and that's very healthy. Also, we hired a new administrator in April. That would be myself, Vanessa. But you know, at this time, I want to actually say thank you and acknowledge the people who have brought the mission around to really good health. And that would be Nancy and Gary Dorigi. Yes. Thank you. There they are. Their selfless giving for 2 years, they volunteered as the administrators, and sometimes they worked 7 days a week. So God bless them for that. Thank you so much. So the operations are running really well, and we now have the museum foundation repair coming up. That actually starts in August, so we have a couple of weeks here. We've raised so far $200,000 to cover that expense, and It originally was quoted to us as 600,000, but it looks like the price tag is going to be closer to 800 now that we're getting started. So please keep us in your prayers at the mission. So at this point, I want to invite up a man who really needs no introduction, Bill Udick.
Thank you, Vanessa. Closer. So as I was originally introduced, I am a member of the pastoral leadership team, and my wife Diane and I have been parishioners here since 1984, so 39 years, I think. 40th wedding anniversary coming up next week. So I've been here longer than I think Father Anthony's been alive. Pretty sure. Okay. So since last July's parish update, we've completed quite a few projects. Some of it's maintenance, like tree trimming and sort of reduce the wildfire danger and clean up the campus. And I'm happy to report that we've really completed that now in the last couple of months. We've also opened a number of projects like the new playground, and we really need to acknowledge here Kelly Mendoza, former principal of the school, who spearheaded that playground project over a number of years and all the permitting hurdles that had to be leaped over with the city. And a number of other exciting projects which you've seen here, including Ministry House 1, which was recently completed. We did a renovation. That is the second of our two ministry houses. Ministry House 2, where the parish office is now, was renovated the year before. Let's move on. In the next 12 months, we will complete the renovation of our church and hall, and you can see the work is going on over there. Please try to stay away from the workers and the construction. We're going to start the museum repair next month. We've got an interesting project to try to figure out how to reduce the presence of wasps around the outdoor lunch areas at the school. We haven't figured it out, but we will. And these other projects that you see. And one of the things that I want to mention here to follow up with what Gina said earlier is that maintenance projects are funded by the operating budget. So our plate collections support the maintenance work that we do. But our special projects, renovations, new Stations of the Cross, the church renovation, the museum foundation, those are all paid for with separate donations so that those projects aren't being paid for out of the operating budget. So you can keep track of our facility work, both maintenance and improvements, on our parish website. I know you can't really read this, but it's a copy of the screenshot. So if you go to the parish website and the facilities menu, you can see facilities updates there and follow along on all the things that we've been doing. Next, please. Let's talk about the church renovation project. We started on June 26th, and we plan to be finished in time for Christmas of this year in December. The project will cost approximately $3 million. It is fully funded from repurposed TBC donations plus new donations to the project. So there's no borrowing, there's no debt. It's coming out of that restricted funds that we have. One of the features that I'm especially happy about is the renovated church. You'll be able to enter it from the parking lot without having to cross any stairs. So no longer will someone with a walker or a wheelchair have to enter the church from the back. You'll be able to use the main entrance. Next, please. We're well underway in renovating the sanctuary. You'll see from this picture that we actually have 4 of the restored large stained glass windows. We purchased 8 of them years ago, originally intended for the new church project, and they're being reused as part of our renovation. The 4 that you see here, plus 4 more that'll be in other locations within the church, plus our new ambo and altar. We're putting in a new wall, so the moving wall that sometimes worked and sometimes didn't is no more, it's gone. A new stationary and permanent wall is being built to divide the hall from the church. And you can see 2 more of those stained glass windows in there. And then what we're really excited about is we have commissioned from a Catholic religious artist in Pennsylvania a 50-foot wide by 7 feet high oil painting on Belgian linen, which is a type of canvas that shows the saints and all the peoples of God's kingdom celebrating the wedding feast of Christ with the church. And we're really excited. We're hoping that that will be ready by December. We've talked as well about the new stained glass windows. So we have commissioned 12 new stained glass windows. So these are 12 in addition to the 8 that we already have. The 12 will be put on the outside windows of the worship space on both sides. And they're being made for us by a religious art studio in Florida. This page shows some of the other things that we're doing as part of the church renovation. The goal is to provide a beautiful worship space for the parish that reflects the glory of God and all His goodness. And to that end, and at the same time, provides us with a more comfortable environment. We will have air conditioning next year. We will have a new sound system and a new organ speakers and organ. It's just going to be a complete refresh with wood, stone, and tile that reflect the type of building that St. Joseph might have built back 2,000 years ago to remind us of our patron saint. All of the details about the church renovation are also on the parish website. You'll be able to follow along. It's got progress photos and more information about the windows and the oil painting and the baptismal font and all those good things. So I do encourage you to take a look when you have time and follow our progress. Okay, that concludes the parish updates. So where we are in the program is we're now going to hear from Father Anthony and some more members of the Pastoral Leadership Council and some parishioners to talk to us about our parish vision and how we're doing with our pastoral plan.
We expect at the end of this presentation you memorize everything we just shared with you. We're going to have a cheat sheet outside to make sure you do your homework at the end. I just want to thank all of you and those who actually make all of that happen. A great gratitude to you. It's amazing, amazing work has been done here at St. Joseph. Give them a big hand, truly. Now you think about it, let's situate our parish in the context of our diocese at this moment, after pandemic. The number of our people going to church is only about 67,000 or 63,000. And 82 parishes now going to gradually consolidate to 50 or 52 parishes. And we're just being hit by a massive lawsuit. We declare bankruptcy. Are we deterred by this crisis that we're facing? The answer is no. The church have gone through worse, really. Take a look at the commission of our Lord. What He said at the end before He returned home and sent His disciples out. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. This is what inspired Junipero Serra and his missionaries, his padres, his friends and people who live here to build this mission church. 1,000 more martyrs everywhere in Philippines or in Vietnam. They have done because of this commission. So my brothers and sisters, our pastoral vision is nothing other than that, to facilitate that amazing, beautiful, transformative encounter with Christ, with God, through everything we do. I'm talking about amazing liturgical, Catholic, devotional practices that we have here. I'm talking about form and empower disciples of Jesus who commit to this mission, sharing Christ to others, and also translate that love and faith into concrete actions, the works of mercy, justice, and charity. This what we have as our goal, as our mission. And as we move forward through these beautiful three goals, I want to invite some of our people like Mike Gaffey to come here to share with you what we have done in the past, continue to do, and what we promise to provide. Mike Gaffey.
Good morning. My name is Mike Gaffey. I've been a parishioner here since 1997. My kids all went to the school, and so they've all experienced what Mrs. Lopez is going to continue to put forth with all the kids in our parish, and hopefully more of them. So with regard to worship, when I was young, it was kind of a turmoil time in the church, but at the same time, a lot of the things that we're doing here today are things that I experienced. I learned the Mass in Latin. I served the Mass in Latin. The music that Ron and the choir and the musicians all present, the traditional music, that's all stuff that I grew up with. So I'm very excited that that's going on, and I'm excited to be a part of it just as a parishioner, because I'm really not a musician or much of a singer. We have lots of we have a season in the church. We have seasons in the church. You get your Catholic calendar at the beginning of the year, and the Catholic calendar has all the different feast days through the year, all the people in our ancestry who have done things for the Lord and for their churches. And we have, one of the things we do is we do the Eucharistic procession for Corpus Christi. We can go to the next slide. In our church, we have things that go on daily. Daily, we have confessions 30 minutes before every Mass. Also, at about that same time, we're saying the Rosary before Mass. And then after the Mass, we do the at 8 o'clock Mass Monday through Saturday. After the 8 o'clock Mass, we do the Divine Mercy Chaplet after the service. Worship, the Eucharist is what Christ gave us. If we think about what the word Eucharist means, it means thanksgiving. What a great gift the Eucharist is to us. And think about it. That was what happened the last night he was with his disciples. He says, do this in memory of me. And we come here and we do this. And it is a thanksgiving. What are we thanking him for? We're thanking him for creating us. We're thanking him for dying on the cross so that we can go to heaven and be with him for eternity. I mean, the Eucharist sometimes is described as the sum and substance of our faith. We receive the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. If you spend a half an hour just thinking about that, it probably will bring you to tears, because it's so much that we kind of take for granted because it's so available to us. Other people in other parts of the world aren't quite so lucky. Weekdays, we have the Rosary, the Mass, and Divine Chaplet. We also have prayer opportunities. We have the Zoom nightly team prayer on 8 o'clock nightly. And then on Thursdays, we have Vespers and Benediction. Most of you were here for benediction this morning. That's a great, great way to just be with God. And it was a great quiet period we had this morning together. And then the mission, we used to have the chapel open every day in the church, and that will return. But now you can get into the mission at various times. It's not a set schedule, but most of the time when the mission office is open, that we can get in here. All right, thank you, Peter. Next one. And again, we go back. Corpus Christi isn't the only one. We have lots of seasonal feast days and celebrations. Pick up your calendar at the end of the year. We have, at the other end, we have the Fatima statues. And we do Lent and Triduum and Easter and Advent. All these different seasons bring us to different times of the Lord's life and different times that we can celebrate. All right. All of these celebrations are much more meaningful because we have Ron and we have the musicians and we have the choirs, that the different musical groups. We are a very diverse community. We have lots of diverse choirs, and it's just amazing to participate in all these different events with our parish. So when Matthew's gospel says go out and preach to all nations, we are really the microcosm of that right here, because we have all these nations that are present in our community. And we're doing all these beautification projects, including the new Stations of the Cross, which will be coming. So we have lots of opportunities to worship here. Beautiful experience and a beautiful place to do it. And I think are we ready for the next one? Let's see what the next one is. So now it's my pleasure to introduce to you a young man who's from Kerala, India. He is the oldest of 3 boys, and his name is Albin Joseph, and he's going to give you the next talk, okay?
Thank you, Mike. Good morning. Good morning, St. Joseph family. I'm Albin Joseph, a member of our community. Today, I would like to share an experience that led me closer to God. So, during my teenage years, I struggled with my faith, often questioning the existence of God. And I used to ask my mother, is there a God really exists? And slowly, I drifted away from the faith, and I became a troublemaker at my home, at my college. And additionally, my academic performance has suffered. And I started failing in subjects in my college. And during those times, I couldn't control my anger. I ended up verbally abusing my professor, resulting in my suspension from the college. However, during this difficult time, I had a life-changing encounter with a priest who possessed the gifts of the Holy Spirit. He revealed about many things about myself, my past, my present situations, and the struggles in which I am going through. This encounter has really startled me because he was able to reveal many secrets about myself that only I knew. And this really made me believe that God truly exists. And I shared this incident with my friends in college, and they all laughed at me, saying the priest might have studied psychology and he might have hypnotized you during the session. That's what they all laughed at me. But deep in my mind, I know it was true because I was the one who attended that session. This incident has sparked a curiosity in myself regarding the Catholic faith, and that prompted me to read the Bible every day. And during the course of 1 year, I was able to complete the whole Bible, which brought me closer to God and strengthened my faith. Later, I attended a 5-day residential retreat to learn more about the faith. And during the sermons, one of the priests has mentioned that Holy Eucharist and confession are the core values of our Catholic faith and the key to holiness. He emphasized that if you love Jesus, then worshiping Him in the Holy Mass is the best thing you can do. So attending the daily Mass has become a habit for me, and through this my love and devotion to God deepened profoundly. Like the priest said, I was able to understand that Holy Eucharist is the key to eternal joy in this world. The happiness that we receive from attending the Mass surpasses any worldly pleasures we may receive. Also, I learned that spreading the gospel is one of the most important part of the Christian life. So I started volunteering for a Catholic evangelization ministry called as Shalom World TV, which focuses on evangelization through media. Through them, I was able to distribute Catholic magazines to prisons, universities, and was able to conduct retreat at universities and other prayer sessions in colleges. And I'm immensely thankful to God for allowing me to be part of the St. Joseph family, which is providing me all the spiritual strength that I need. It has been instrumental in keeping me steadfast in my faith. Our church worship experiences, such as the daily Mass, the perpetual adoration, the Thursday evening benediction, and the confession on Saturdays. All these have contributed significantly to my faith journey. And also the devotion to St. Joseph. All these have been very important in my spiritual life. All these have been possible through our church. We continue to grow in faith and experience the profound love of God. May Lord bless each of us. Thank you. I'll give the mic to Dennis.
Thank you, Albin, for sharing with us. It was a very beautiful story. My name is Denise Lai. I'm a member of the Pastoral Leadership Team. And what I'd like to talk to you today about is forming missionary disciples. According to St. John Paul II, our personal encounter with Christ refocuses our life in a new light, sets us on the right path, and sends us out to be his witnesses. We are all called to be missionary disciples. What does that mean? In the Gospel according to Matthew, which was quoted a few slides ago, Jesus tells us, go forward and make disciples of all nations. By virtue of our baptism, all the members of the people of God have become missionary disciples. All the baptized, whatever their position in the church and their level of instruction in the faith, are agents of evangelization. And the new evangelization calls for personal involvement on the part of each of the baptized. Last year, our parish offered many opportunities to be personally involved. Next slide, please. We have the Family of Faith. We have a summer family camp for Bible study. We also offer Lent and Advent retreats. And as you also heard before, we have soup suppers before the Stations of the Cross during Lent. Next slide. We also have available to everybody free subscriptions to Formed and Amen. And during the course of the year, Sister Marcia offered Lectio Divina and Bible study for anybody who's interested. We also had, for the first time, our annual St. Joseph Conference. This was very well attended. We offer total consecration devotion to St. Joseph and also total consecration devotion to Jesus through Mary. We initiated the Witness to Love marriage preparation ministry, and we continue our RCIA, which welcomes new Catholics into our faith. We offer nightly rosary prayer. Next slide, please. One of the very popular activities in our Family of Faith are the parent formation classes that Father Anthony offers. And you can see there's a lot of people involved here, and they look very studious. And finally, here we have pictures of our parish cleanup days. So there are a lot of opportunities for all of us to get personally involved. And what I'd like to do now is I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Her name is Lisa Dang. She's a member of our parish leadership team. She's also the leader of the Vietnamese choir, and she'd like to share her story of personal involvement. Lisa?
Thank you, Denise. My name is Lisa. I have been a parishioner for over 20 years. 3 of my kids went to St. Joseph School and know Mrs. Lopez for years now. So thank you, and I'm glad that I see the new principles that I can relate it to. Good morning. Thank you, Father Anthony, for giving me an opportunity to share a true story of my faith and how God transformed me through my service at St. Joseph. I'm like one of you guys, attend Sunday Mass, and I just, my Catholic faith is like a robot. I came to Sunday because it's obligated holiday, Sunday Mass. So I went and I make a sign of the cross. I sat down, stand up, and say the prayers like a robot. I didn't understand, and I did not have a deepened faith for God. I started asking the questions. is God even exist? Do we have God in our life? Am I in the right faith and religion? So I started searching for a religion myself to find a true religion. Unfortunately, I went online and searched for it. I know that you guys like been searching stuff online, but I found this person. He's a monk. He is a Buddhist. He gave a reflection every day. So I started listening to him, and I thought I found God. So I started thinking, leaving Catholic Church and go and join Buddhist religion. So I purchased the air ticket to Canada to visit his temple. So COVID hit, so I cannot travel. And luckily, Father Anthony reached out to me and he asked me, see if I wanted to join the Parish leadership team. At first, I didn't want to make him feel bad. I was politely thinking in my head, I'm going to decline his invitation because I have other things in my mind. So I told Father, please give me 1 week so I can pray and discern. I went home. I gave a deep thought to, where my faith, Catholic faith, would be. And I came up with several objections. First of all, I say I don't have time to volunteer. Second, I have nothing to offer because in my resume, nothing spell out Catholic faith. Also, I thought I'm not worthy to serve because of my faith in God. So then I went to explore it further. I went to talk to my brother-in-law, who is grounded in faith. So he told me, it's not Father Anthony's calling me, it's God calling me. God has been blessing me so many blessings in life, and I need to give back to him. Because if I do not, on the judgment day, I have to answer to God. And at the same time, my work called me up, and they gave me an opportunity to work from home permanently. So I called up Father Anthony, and I said, well, I'm going to join your team. So from there, I started to join more ministries at St. Joseph. I am a Vietnamese leader for Vietnamese choirs. I lead the outreach project for Vineyard neighborhood. I grow my faith more and more every day by serving God at St. Joseph. Most important thing, I signed up for a catechism class in Diocese of Oakland. Serving and volunteer at St. Joseph has been transformational and grace-filled for me. I strive to love God every day. I feel I grow in my faith, and I volunteer as much as I could at St. Joseph, wherever God places me. I desire my love for God, thanking him for all the blessings he gave it to me, for time, treasure, and talent. So I would like to leave you a quote from Mother Teresa, which is fitted my Catholic transformation. Do ordinary thing with an extraordinary love. I'm not here to sell you anything, but I just want to share with you my own experience. We have a lot of programs at St. Joseph that offer to our parishioners. I urge you guys to join, and you can find the difference for yourself. Thank you, and God bless.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. That was very beautiful. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing with us. And so I'm back. I actually wanted to come up and speak with you about Caritas, which is our response to the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. Actually, it's our response to the love that God's given us. And so we're pouring that back out into others. And so there's a lot going on. I'm just going to be able to give you a light brushstroke again of things that are happening in the community. And one of our ministries is the bereavement ministry, and Helen's been leading that charge for many years. She has a great team. Earlier this year, they did a special training at Washington Hospital for hospice care. So that was very enriching. And she also, once again, has started up coordinating the bereavement ministry gatherings for those who are going through loss and experiencing loss. And she's doing that not only on a parish level, but she's also doing that throughout the deanery. So they're meeting in one central spot, and they're offering, I believe it's 8-week. That's all of that information's in the bulletin. But you know, she's really, she and her team are showing the mercy and love of God to those who are suffering. One of the other ministries, this is going to seem like a weird one, but this is definitely a spiritual work of mercy, is our live stream team, led by Frank. We actually live stream Mass on Sunday 4 times, at the 10 a.m. Mass, the noon Mass, and also the 3 p.m. Vietnamese Mass and the 5 p.m. Mandarin Mass. So that's amazing. We have over 1,000 followers on YouTube, and every Sunday we have over 300 people tune in to participate in Mass as they can from wherever they are. And most of our people who watch are, of course, from the Bay Area, but you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people internationally from other countries who tune into our Masses. And there will be more details on all of these posted on our website later, so you can look at those numbers. Another amazing ministry that we have is, actually, can you move to the next slide, please? Is our refugee resettlement program. And this is amazing work in welcoming the stranger. It's not just an individual person, but there are these immigrants' families who come, entire families. And we have a beautiful ministry that welcomes them. They come here with nothing, and we'll hear from someone later who will tell us a little bit more about that. But again, beautiful ministry, welcoming the stranger. We also have homeless outreach, which is run by Stan Peters, and they take food and needed items out into the street. So they go to these encampments or other areas and bring Jesus to those living on the outskirts. So the other areas of involvement for Caritas, of course, our young people get involved also. Our school does the blankets and sock drives. We've had coat drives and the backpacks for schools. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved and share. A lot of things happening. Thank you. There's also been a lot of charitable giving. Last year, we raised over $100,000 for the earthquake relief in Turkey and also the war relief in the Ukraine. I say we. You have also raised over $30,000 for the sister parish in Ghana. And our Vietnamese community raised over $34,000 for the poor and the missionaries. So at this point, I'm going to invite up Monica Trott. She and her husband, Lance, coordinate the Refugee Resettlement Ministry, and she's going to give her witness to her experience on serving God in those in need. Monica.
Thank you, Vanessa. My picture is a selfie from the other day, so I apologize. It's not the professional one that everybody has. But as Vanessa said, I'm Monica Trott, and my husband Lance and I moved to Fremont from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the fall of 2019. And I've always been a serial volunteer. I volunteer for everything. I like to keep busy. I like to be of help. So when we got settled into the house in the spring of 2020, we wanted to try to get involved in the church, to meet new people, to be of help, and to do God's work. And then this thing called the pandemic hit, so that kind of got put on hold for a while. But in 2021, when things were opening back up again, I did get involved with the St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry, which was one of the ministries up there. And I still do that today. I keep some things stocked in the pantry. We also got involved, Lance and I got involved in the Parish outreach program with Don and Lori Kafer, and we're still involved in that as well. Lance also is a usher at Mass. And we have done those, and we've enjoyed those ministries. In the beginning of 2022, I saw a bulletin announcement that this Refugee Settlement Committee existed, and we're looking for donations of furniture. And we had brought a lot from Pittsburgh with us that we didn't need, so we had some things we wanted to rehome, and I reached out to Don Kafer, and he said, yeah, we could use what you have. Can you hang on to it until we have a family coming in, which we did. And then when they had a family, he said, hey, why don't you guys come with us and actually bring the furniture to the family that we're settling in an apartment? So we did that, and it was such a huge impact, not just to donate something, but to actually go. And we went to the apartment, we met the family. It was, I think, 4 adults and 4 or 5 kids. Brought the furniture there, set it up for them, and we got to see that firsthand, the impact of what the ministry was doing, and meet the committee, which were a bunch of wonderful people. So we started learning more and asking more about the mission of the committee, which is to welcome these refugees that are coming into the United States. They are persecuted in their home countries, many of them, and what the committee does is to provide everything they need in an apartment: furniture, dishes, silverware, towels, cleaning supplies, everything that they need to be settled, so they don't have to worry about that, and they can just try to become part of the community. And as we learned more about that mission, we decided to join. So we joined the committee. We have been involved ever since. I currently chair the committee, and Lance is our #1 Craigslist buyer of items that we need out there. This ministry has brought so much joy to us, and we are so blessed and grateful that, you know, we've been helped by others in our past. And so to be able to do that for others and bring something good to help others along on their journey has been just such a blessing for us. When we have just recently settled, for example, a family that had a mom, a dad, and 5 kids under the age of 12. And they came here with absolutely nothing but the clothes on their back. They had been persecuted. Many of these families, recently it's been the Afghan families, worked for the U.S. government in their country, and so they were specifically targeted for persecution because of their cooperation with the U.S. This family in particular, it took them 2 years to get here. And literally they came with nothing. And the very first thing that the father wanted was, how do I get my kids enrolled in school? It's been 2 years since they've been in school. I need to get them in school. Where do I go to do that? And they're just so grateful for everything, especially the kids, when we see the kids. And all they want is a place to stay that's safe. They get their own bed. We give them new mattresses. We give them some toys. And they are just so grateful for everything that we can give them. And so it's been a real blessing to be in that ministry. And when Lance goes out and tries to contact somebody on Nextdoor or on Craigslist, people they don't know who we are, they don't know why, they're just trying to sell some things. We always try to tell them what their thing that we're buying is going for. And a lot of them, because of that, and when we hear the story, end up donating the items for free to us, just because of the importance of what we're doing. During this time also, it's not only has serving in the ministry and being involved in the parish helped us meet people and be of help, but it's also deepened my faith. For the last 2 years, during COVID, I started listening to a Bible in a Day podcast. It's wonderful, and I did that for 2 years in a row, and this year I'm listening to the Catechism in a Year podcast. I have been a Catholic my whole life, but I never had read the Bible, and I didn't even know what the Catechism was. And through this, I have deepened my faith so much more and my understanding and what we are called to do. And, you know, when Jesus says in the Gospels, feed my people, that's what these ministries are doing. That's what we're doing in all of these. We're feeding mind, body, and spirit. And so thank you to all of you for your continued generosity to not only the ministries that I'm involved with, but all of the ministries of the parish. Thank you. Father Anthony?
Well, what an amazing story that we have to share. If you take a look at from the finance to worship experience to devotional practices that we have, and also discipleship opportunities that we have to offer here, including our works of mercy and charity, we together as a community have done a phenomenal job. Give each other a big hand, really. Now, what's next? What next after all of this? We are going to, my friends, continue to fulfill our vision. Our pastoral vision is to facilitate that great encounter, that transforming encounter with God through everything we do here at St. Joseph. Let it be liturgy, let it be devotional practices, let it be discipleship, let it be our works of mercy, charity, and justice. And in the last few years, we have focused a lot on beautification of our facilities, providing safe, beautiful, elegant, and also extremely accessible to all when they come here and encounter God through nature and through our facilities. We also focus on works of mercy and charity. We have done a lot. This year, we are going to focus on the second part of our great goal, empowering our people, forming our people to truly be disciples of our Lord. The disciples who dares to grow in faith in relationship with Him through various means, liturgy, for example, devotional practices, events that we have to offer. Disciples who will experience God in such a way that they feel compelled to share with others. We are no longer live for our own self. We no longer to keep our relationship for our own good, our need, but we wanted to share with others, just like Monica and the rest of us have heard him. We wanted to walk with Jesus. We wanted to act more like Him. We wanted to invite others. We wanted to show all of that. Because being a disciple of Jesus, this is what we got. We got closer to Him. We're going to experience God in a real way. We're going to act and love like Jesus. We're going to be part of a new family. We're going to experience great joy. Being friend with Jesus is not sad and then miserable. Being friend with Jesus, a disciple of Jesus, is going to be a wonderful experience. And that's the reason why we want to focus on this component of our great goals. And therefore, we're going to offer you a few opportunities. Be ready for this year. We're going to rock and roll once again. We're happy to have Nancy Flores. She's going to be our new adult spiritual and formation coordinator. Where's Nancy Flores? Where are you at? She's in the back over there. We welcome you. Sister Marcia has been great. She had been working with us for more than 10 years. She decided this year to step back and focus more on her task at the Mother House. So we are very grateful for her ministry here. We thank you. Sister Marcia, if you're watching, thank you. Nancy Flora is going to help us with a couple of new ministries, new opportunities for discipleship. First, Alpha. Alpha, where we gather together, we learn more about our faith, and we re-engage with Christ in a real tangible way. We're going to have a ministry for women walk with purpose. What it is that it's like a Lectio Divina for women, but designed in such a way that it's not just listening to the Word, but engaging in what the Word is inviting us to do. And then we're going to have a ministry, an opportunity for all men, all fathers and husbands and young men here in this parish community to really reclaim our position, reclaim our identity, and recommit ourselves to the great work of God. And then we're going to also participate in National Eucharistic Congress. You know that 35% of Catholics believe in the real presence of Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. 70% or 60 or so percent don't believe in anymore in the real presence of Jesus. And that's the reason why our diocese this year in September 15 and 16, we offer Eucharistic Congress. And I hope you could sign up for it. And nationally, next year, we're going to have 100,000 people gather together and do so. So I encourage you to follow and also to register if you could. We're going to offer a series on the mystery of the Holy Eucharist. We're going to invite you to watch Father Robert Barron's 6-part series on the Mass. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have opportunity to gather, to learn, and also to share our thoughts. Not only that, we're going to once again invite our people to commit one maybe twice, 3 times a year, total consecration to our Lord Jesus, to our Blessed Mother, and Saint Joseph. Hey, what better family to belong than the Holy Family? It's a great way to really re-engage and learn and what they actually offer us and what we could do in participation with their great, great mystery. And look for this coming event. First one's coming up, September 15. We're going to bless and dedicate our 15 Stations of the Cross, Our Lady of Sorrows. Around 7 p.m., September 15, mark the calendar. We're going to gather together over there. In the next 2 weeks or so, those Stations of the Cross are going to be here. We're going to bless it. We're going to walk through together. We're going to have a great time. Second event, mark your calendar, December 23rd. We hope we're going to dedicate our church before December 24th. We're going to wait until the last day. We're going to force everything that everyone who works on that church, we're going to make sure on that day we finish. We're going to open our church and hall. Get ready for amazing experience. This is going to be one of the kind church, one of the kind, really beautiful, magnificently simple but beautiful, elegantly so designed that for centuries to come. That's going to be amazing. So wait for that. In order to communicate all of that to you, we're going to use a fundamental and beautiful and powerful tool of communication we call flock note. You may have already registered and received a lot of notes from us. You know, sometimes I text you in the middle of the night. No, kidding. Vanessa is now taking over, texting you and sharing with you a lot of information regarding what comes up in our parish community. This is a powerful platform, and we hope you could join us. If you don't worry. Vanessa and the rest of our staff could help you. We're going to make sure you have the information on your fingertip and readily participate and register. And finally, this is something that you already witnessed here in this beautiful presentation. 3 witnesses have offered their stories with God. We are going to launch something called the Witness Project. This is not FBI-inspired movie, but it's Catholic faith-inspired project. we call Witness Project. Latin word for witness is martyr. You and I are not going to die for the faith just yet. But we are asked to be witness, someone who have seen, touched, and loved the good Lord, share a good story with Him. This is my promo video. Suspended. Basically, what it is that I invite you to take a look at your life and relationship with God for 3 to 5 minutes. Answer very basic 3 questions. First, who you are. Second, what you do. Third, what is your story with God? Imagine for a moment that you are arrested and you have to answer before the judge. Tell me about your faith. Tell me about your relationship with God. Tell me about your belief. Tell me, why did you believe in God in the first place? So my dear brothers and sisters, if we accept the invitation that's coming from God, then we have to accept the fact that we cannot live the faith for ourselves. We've got to share it. Basically, you just have to turn off the video. I just give you my promo video. So thank you very much. So don't worry about that anymore. Don't worry about that. Stop it now. Let's move to the next part. So I wanted to thank all of you for your attention, for all the things that you have contributed. These people are representing you. We are working with you. 1,000 more people behind the scene, people who pray, people who contributed, people who work together to make this church great. And all the ministries that we have heard, only a fraction of what we offer. We have not yet told you everything because we don't have enough time to share with you every wonderful things that we have done. For those of you we have not yet mentioned, don't think we have forgotten you. No, we thank you. We appreciate your work. A lot more information will be posted on our website. These are just some highlights to show you what an amazing parish that we really have here. Thank you very much, all of you. Now, in the next half an hour or so, anything that you just heard, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, now's the time for you to ask questions. Mike Gaffey and Bill Udick are going to have the microphone to go around. If you would like to ask questions regarding anything, finance, discipleship, liturgy, why Father Anthony speaks so long, whatever, you just ask. Yes, Madeline. It's over here.
I'd like to know when we're going to get cushions for these pews. My butt is broken.
Well, let me put it this way. We're going to allow your knees feel comfortable, but not your butts. Just kidding. We're going to have new pews. We're going to have wooden pews, but we don't have cushion. The reason being that we only in church for an hour or so, a little bit more than an hour. And half of the time we stand or we kneel. So sitting is not too much. If you would like to have some cushion, we do have some kneeler pads or so. We could help you. We could put it at the end of the church so you could take one and sit comfortably. Yes?
So when I was looking, Bill was saying that the renovation for the church will be about $3 million.
Yes.
We already had 3.1 in funds.
Yes.
And you're asking for more donations. So that was at almost 600,000. So you have about 3.6, 3.7 million. What's going to happen to that extra money?
Oh, awesome question. Awesome question. Thank you very much. Let me go back to what we have previously. And I could invite Bill Udick to come up here to contribute to what my answer could be. Last year, we present to you at the state of the parish our master plan. Our master plan involves, number one, renovation of the church. Number two, renovations of ministry house 1, house 2. Number 3, taking care of our carriage house. Number 4, the sport field for the children. So those are just basic 4 projects, big projects. We asked our people, we sent them out the letter of intent. If our people decided to reclaim, they have a right to do so. If they have an intention to repurpose their fund to the master plan, they could do so at that time. $3.1 million is the amount of people, and the money have been repurposed to the master plan. Now, in the last 20-something years or so, when we started the building project, the church, we have about 3,000 people. And we have a lot of people contributed to that project. However, in the last 20 or 30 years, we also have a lot of people who came and be part of our parish who have no idea or knowledge of the plan. And therefore, among those who repurposed the fund, we all have that understanding. But for those who just recently joined our parish community, they did not have an opportunity to contribute to the overall rebuilding of the church. And therefore, we opened that up for all the people who already contributed, if they would like to do so, some more. Thanks God for it. For those who have not yet done so in the past, now is an opportunity to do so, especially the church where we come together and share our faith, receive our spiritual nourishment, our discipleship opportunities, and our opportunities to be like Christ in sharing our goodness in the works of mercy and charity. So we have that people as well. $521,000 or so being pledged, actually coming both from the people who contributed to previous project and also from a new people who came here late and would like to do so. Now, what happened with the excessive amount of money? Let's just say $600,000. We have the church about $3 million or so. And we still have a carriage house. Have you seen the carriage house, the most beautiful house on the premise? No, the Catholic termites are holding hand to keep it standing. That alone going to cost more than $600,000. Not to mention we are partnership with the school, with CYO, to help to use the land that we bought from the sisters. We're going to turn it into a sport field for our children. Right now, they're playing on the blacktop. We wanted to turn into a usable sport field, outdoor activity, and science, whatever facility. We hope to do that in the next couple of years or so. Those extra money would help to support that also. So I hope to answer the questions. So don't worry about giving us an opportunity to help you participate in building God's kingdom here on earth. Everything we have done, everything we will do, only for not only glorification of God, but for sanctification of souls, for those who come here and encounter the great God, the great community who believes in Him. We asking, not equal giving, but equal responsibility and sacrifice. Because this house does not belong to Father Anthony alone. This house does not belong to Bill Udick alone. This house belongs to all. All of us benefit from it. It's only right all of us participate. So that we are not guests, but we are actually members of the same family. If you happen to not like my homily, that's fine. You could donate to the pew instead. If you happen not liking Ron McKean organ concert, you could donate to the stained glass. By that I mean, we don't have to like everything we do here. We don't have to agree on everything, but we should agree on one thing. We belong to the same God. We are asked by the same God to share the same faith, and let's do it together, regardless of how different we are. Agree? Amen to that. Other questions? Yes, Bob?
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Father, and the team for the amazing changing that I see in my 25 years as a parishioner here. So I have two questions, one for me and one for my dear wife at home.
That's all right,
So
go ahead.
I'm taking a look at the financial, to build church. I believe that it stated that the total fund is somewhere 6.95, so like $7 million. And the reclaim is so far like $900,000, $1 million, and $3.1 million are repurposed for the renovations. So say that $4 million. When do you anticipate the ending of the claim of the fund? Because there's $7 million, $4 million have been claimed, so there's left $3 million left. So that's my questions. My second question is, my dear wife was saying, in the To Build Church, there was a memorial level that the parishioner contributed. And what happened to those memorial level? Like the Neuler, the altar. I'm talking about the previous To Build Church.
Okay, I answer the second question first, and I'll have Gina, maybe Bill Udick, to answer the first question. When the To Build Church project ended, everything ended. Related to that project ended. Meaning that if you have contributed, let's just say, the Chinese community together contributed to the new altar, $100,000 they pledge. But the pledge is not coming from one individual person, but it came from a group of parishioners. And when we decided to end the building project, it's a time to end everything that we contributed, and therefore all people have the equal opportunity to either reclaim or repurpose. So the many Chinese brothers and sisters have reclaimed, and some of them repurposed, and therefore the pledge for the altar is no longer there. No longer there. Even if indeed, in case, someone, for example, contributed to stained glass. For example, Bill Udick has sponsored a lot of stained glasses for a previous church. He remained that commitment to do it so. Then we honor that. But in general, you have an equal opportunity to reclaim whatever you pledge, whatever you gave. And if you decided to repurpose that to another project or to the same thing, you have to let us know. You have to let us know. And that's the first answer to that second question. Now, to the first question, what happened with the leftover couple $1 million? Gina, why don't you get up here and share with us?
Yes, so there's still around $3 million out there that we're trying to reach out to those donors. Majority of the donors from the TBC are no longer at the parish, and some of them have, we have a lot of donors as well who already passed away. So we're in the process of working with the Diocese of Oakland. with regards to deceased donors. It has a different and longer process, regardless if it's reclaimed or repurposed donations. And so we are just we have different requirements when it comes to those families of deceased donors. They have to provide a will or paperwork because it's something to do with legality. And at this point, I really don't have any update of when that will be processed because we're still waiting for the Diocese of Oakland's instructions since this is the first time that we have experienced here at St. Joseph. So therefore, we have a very good volunteer who helps us out. Her name is Angela, and that's Lisa Dang's daughter, who is consistently coming every week and calling all those people who have not turned in their donor's request form. So we're working on it. There's no end yet, not at this time.
Thank you, Gina, because we have so many people who donated to the previous campaign. People donated $1, $5, $10, or $1,000. We have to reach them out, certain amount equally. Many of them have moved on. Many of them have left the church. Many of them have lived off the grid. We have no way of connecting with them. So we're reaching out by all means of communication in newspaper, local newspaper, on our Facebook, on our diocesan newspaper, and we have all of that. According to the law, we're required to do so, and we have committed to do so, and we have done all of that in the last year or so. So we continue to search for the lost people that we couldn't connect with. If you know anyone, you are welcome to share the news. If not, the money that they contributed, we cannot touch until we have a decision from them or the direction from the legal department from the diocese. Good? Clear enough? Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
When the renovation of the Mission House 1 is completed, what are the plans for the use of the Mission House 1?
Yes, that's a great question. Ministry House 1, how many of you have been in that house before? It's very small and tiny, if you remember. So I have this great, in a way, illumination. That Father Manny and I, two of us living in that big rectory. How many of you have been in that rectory? It's massive. It's like a little mansion. We have 1, 2, 3, at least 3 master bedrooms and 4 extra rooms. Father Manny and I live in there comfortably. We have ACs and everything. We have 2 fridges, and we have everything comfortable. But yet, I realize that my staff is working underneath the carriage house. My staff working in Ministry House 1 and House 2, and they're falling apart. No heating, no air conditioning, no safety measure. So we decided, let's clean up Ministry House 2, move our staff, and settle half of our staff. Monica, if you settle refugee family, we'll settle our refugee staff. And Ministry House 1 just recently completed. And I decided to turn that into small rectory, enough for 2 priests. We priests got to learn how to live in a small space. We live in a comfortable, small, enough, simple space. And therefore, the bigger mansion that we have, Father Manny continues to live there, but we're going to open up those big 2 rooms for conferences and turn those bedrooms into offices for me and for more staff. We have like more than 14 staff, and we have a lot more meeting space demand for it. So we gradually transition our rectory to our Ministry House 1, and the current rectory turned itself into St. Joseph office space for you, for the staff, and for people who come to receive our pastoral care. So that's the answer. We gradually do so, but please don't take it wrong. Father Manny is welcome to stay there as long as he could, and he likes that his little 2 rooms comfy for him. Yeah. You know, I am now in the Ministry House 1. I live there in my little small bedroom and a study room and potentially a room for if I have an associate. So far, I haven't heard that good news yet. So just stick around with me for a while. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Hello, hi, Father Anthony and ladies and gentlemen. I have not participated much in activities as Father Anthony asked us to do. So I'm sorry about that, Father Anthony. I like to verify that whatever Anthony answered the question of the other lady about the extra money, extra fund. Because I used to be with Mr. Mike Gaffey and some other people that just 1 or 2 times to clean up the carriage house. That was horrible. So please don't worry about the extra money because Father Anthony, as Sister Massa put it, we all will not be able to follow suit with the working pace of Father Anthony because he's young and he's worked so much for us and for our parish. So anything, because I used to work with Mike Gaffey and some other people, and I'm shameful because I do not do much to assist with the other people, but the carriage house that we cleaned up the other day, it was horrifying. So dark, dusty, and so we have a lot of work to do, as Father Anthony put it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. If you find it difficult to involve in physical activity, just sign a big check, we take it. Just kidding. Thank you. Bill McIntosh, yes?
Thank you, Father. I'm wondering, is your eventual goal...
Can you get closer?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Do you see your eventual goal as making this whole complex a shrine to St. Joseph, like the grotto in Oregon is a shrine to Our Lady of Sorrows?
Well,
I mean,
otherwise,
why the sleeping St. Joseph outside?
Yeah.
Why the Stations of the Cross outside? Do you see that as an eventual goal?
Well, the eventual goal, to answer the question. Now, let's think about this for a moment. We have the mission, number 14 out of 21 missions. This is the place where people come and visit. The mission has been known for its history, for its presence. Now, we named after St. Joseph. St. Joseph, in the last 100 years or so, has been brought to the forefront of the Catholic consciousness. We wanted to cultivate a great devotion to St. Joseph, our protector, our guardian, because we want him to help us really proclaim good news. That being said, everything we have here somehow have to make that goal visible and reality. Remember how ugly that area looked? We now turn it into a Holy Family picnic area, where sleeping St. Joseph, one of the greatest, perhaps, contribution of Pope Francis is to reignite that devotion to sleeping St. Joseph, the man with 4 dreams. He dares to dream about heaven. He dares to do the works of God. He dared to be a man of the family when a lot of men in this culture abandon their role. We dare to have him there, intercede for us, and to have people come and encounter him. And look at the jungle we used to have. Remember along the creek? It's horrible. It's scary. A lot of wild animals as well. We're now going to turn it into a beautiful Station of the Cross so that our people, when they walk, they remember the passion of our Lord as they participate. So to answer the question, the eventual goal is to really turn this community a place where we could encounter the good Lord thanks to devotion to St. Joseph, nationally known for our great devotion to St. Joseph. That's the reason why we have annual St. Joseph Conference. That's the reason why we beautify everything we have here, because the mission is not just about the mission, it's about the entire mission that we have to share our faith. It involves the school, it involves the parish, it involves everything we have here. It's not just a museum, it's not just a building, but it's the mission at the core, it's people. And everything we have to stand for. If it turns itself to be a nationally known shrine of St. Joseph, so be it. But first and foremost, we have to lay the groundwork, and we are doing it. We are not afraid of making investment in our people, in our facilities. And mind you, everything that we have done so far have been contributed by our own people. By our own people. From the station to the statue of St. Joseph, to the benches, to whatever we have so far, has been contributed by our generous people. Amazing, isn't it? You think about it, it's amazing. Fascinating. So there we hope. It will take, it takes already a piece 50 years to realize the dream, to turn it into a place where people come and encounter Our Lady and our Blessed Lord. It will take our parish probably 10 years or 20 years or so to make it happen. It's going to be awesome when it does. Yes, Lance. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Father, I think the transformational changes that we're going to be realizing in 2024 between the church, the stations, the museum, I think the whole grounds itself is I share the passion. It's going to be just incredible, and I'm wondering, just from the perspective of the diocese, the Oakland diocese, will there be kind of a communication campaign for the diocese to recognize what is truly a crown jewel in the city of Fremont with this entire area?
Yeah, awesome. Actually, our communication team has a plan. The bishop actually has a plan from the beginning. In 2015, he realized that the mission has been underutilized. So he decided he's going to ordain young men to the order of diaconate here. I was the first group of men ordained here November 15 of 2015, here in this church. We was the first. The bishop sent me here. The reason why he sent me here, because he wanted it to be, let's just say, the gem and jewel of the diocese. He wants us to really make sure the mission remains as the mission. I'm not talking about the building. I'm talking about the heart of the evangelization effort here in the Diocese of Oakland. So in the last 3 years or so, Bishop has always been here, being part of what we have, and also we work closely with the Catholic Voice. Interesting enough, yesterday I went to St. Catherine, a group of people who read the Catholic Voice, and they read about the altar that we have, because it's been publicized in our Catholic Voice. And they decided to come here and wanted to see it. Too bad that we don't allow them to see it yet. So we do everything accordingly, and we communicate with our diocese, and the diocese communication office has been responding very, very positively. For example, this coming September 15 at 7 p.m., we're going to have a grand blessing of Station of the Cross. We're going to have it known to entire diocese. Catholic Voice will feature our stations and invite people to come. So to answer the question, we have everything laying out already, getting ready to go when the time comes. So great, and we utilize also flock notes. We're going to make our communication more efficient, fast, and easy for our people to use and connect. Yes.
Father, I'm the Chinese group representative here. I would like to ask if there's a possibility for the Chinese Mass can be changed from current 5 o'clock to 4 o'clock back to the the original schedule. I know the 3 masses, for instance, like Vietnamese is right now is at 3 o'clock, and the Chinese at 5 o'clock, and after that will be 7 o'clock. Will be possibility for you to consider if we can change back to 2, 4, and 6. And the reason I'm asking this is because we do have a lot of Chinese or community members just ask me, is possible to speak out and can tell the parish about our needs, because a lot of people, they do have some kind of a concern about the timing.
Yeah.
I know it's not 100% of the people to ask me do this, but I can say it's almost more than about 30 to 40% of the people ask this.
Thank
So
you
this is
very much.
very important message I need to deliver and report to you, if you can consider that. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the question. If you, I ask you to pray for a miracle for me. All right, I'm going to ask you to have a gift of suspend time so that we could have the luxury of fitting everything in Sunday. Take a look at for a moment. We have 8 o'clock Mass, 10 o'clock Mass, only 2 hours in between Masses. Mass lasts about an hour. We need to have time to allow people to get out of the parking lot and allow the people to come in at the parking lot. And our parking lot is quite limited. You realize that. So 2 hours works well for us. The issue is that when we have noon Mass, what happened at noon Mass is this. At least 3 times a week, 3 times a month, family of faith, they meet together. They have an hour Mass. What happened after the Mass, that the children would go to the classrooms, taking lesson with their catechist. Parents would work with me. So from 1 o'clock to 2:15 or 2:30, the parents and kids are with the catechist. And if I move to 2 o'clock, imagine you have 500 parents and kids on a parking lot. Parking is jam-packed already. If I move the Chinese Mass or Vietnamese Mass to 2 o'clock and the Chinese Mass to 4 o'clock, can we do it logistically? No, can't. That's my difficulty. I would love to do that, but for now, I would have to ask my brothers and sisters in Chinese community to consider the larger picture in the parish life and the flow of masses and events that we have on Sunday. We just simply cannot achieve that. So we ask you, as we ask the parents from the family of faith, make a little bit of sacrifice. Instead of you prefer 10 o'clock Mass, let's go to noon Mass. Instead of the Chinese prefer 4 o'clock, let's do 5 o'clock. Both of us have to sacrifice a little bit so that all could have what we need to do on that Sunday. However, there is a possible solution moving forward, but I'm not promising. I'm giving you a possibility. A new church potentially going to have more than 500 seating capacity, 600 if we squeeze in 650. So our average Mass attendance now is about 200, 250 per Mass. So we could combine 2 Masses into one so that we could free that 2 hours time frame. Then we could talk about shifting Masses. But now, if we're shifting Masses or combine Masses, I ask you to pray for another miracle, that you don't crucify me. Because you know our people like to go to their Mass. It's my Mass. You cannot take it from me. And what can I do? One had to crucify me on the left, the other one crucified me on the right. So that's going to make it equal chance. So either way I turn, I'll be crucified. So I share with you that dilemma, and I ask both of you to understand, to really appreciate the challenge that we have here. The sacrifice have to be made, one way or another. Yeah. If you need, I'll come to the Chinese community. I'll speak English to translate in Chinese for me. And I'll speak directly to them. I don't mind doing that. Yeah. Yes. Mike. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. So the question is, should we have a big screen and projecting the words? There are a couple of things that she brought up that sometimes our lectors, either because of the sound system or because of their pronunciation or because of my Vietnamese accent, that when we enunciate the words, they're not coming out clearly. And therefore, people with hard hearing or people with difficulty understanding different accents may not completely appreciate what's being proclaimed. So we should have a big projector. That's the proposal. I would like to share with you 3 things. And this is not me coming up with all these things. It's actually the church teaching, actually. The first has to do with biblical. God speaks and his people listen. That's the idea. The concept is that faith comes with hearing. We perceive the word. Our Blessed Mother received the Annunciation. St. Joseph received the Annunciation. The Word became incarnate. The Word came through and we perceive in that way. So biblically, we are asked to tune in whatever God speaks. And therefore, we borrow human voice to proclaim God's Word. That's biblical. Second, theological. The theological thing here is this. When we go to Mass, there are 2 parts of the Mass. The first is the proclamation of the Word. The second is the Holy Eucharistic celebration, the moment where we consecrate the bread and wine into the body and blood of our Lord. Both equally important. And therefore, we are asked, when we come to church, wholeheartedly participate, actively engage. This active participation here has to do with, first, our body postures. Second, our active listening. Third, our active participation by responding and engaging. And therefore, hearing is only one component of everything else that we're supposed to do: kneeling, standing, responding, and praying. So hearing is not everything. That's theological. When it comes to worship experience, it's engaging our senses, our smell, our eyes, our hearing, our touch, and our knees, and our complete person. And third, for practical purposes. Now you take a look at this mission church. This mission church designed in ad orientem. Ad orientem means that we together collectively facing the east, facing the high altar. The high altar is a place where both priests and the people united and offer the sacrifices of the Mass, the body and blood, the prayer. And therefore, our eyes are designed to see what is happening at centrality on the altar. If you put the screen, where we're going to put it? Big screen over here, our eyes are going to take off what's happening at the center. That's the issue with the design that we have here. So I'm not against the screen, but I'm sharing with you this. We may compromise more than what we receive. However, the solution could be get better lectors. Second, get better sound system. Third, maybe we could have visual aid. Maybe we could print it on the word as we listen, and we could see it right in front of our face as we look up and down. to follow along. Instead of big screen, it becomes a distraction. It takes away the very centrality of what we ask people to pay attention to. So we're going to address that and see how it works. For the main church, for example, this is not only me, but has been guided by the church as well. The screen in sanctuary is a no-no. It could be outside the sanctuary when it's called for, but not within the sanctuary. The sanctuary where the mystery being taken place, the centrality is the altar, the tabernacle, and the crucifix, not the screen, not the presider even. Fascinating, isn't it? The presider is not the centrality of the Mass. The altar, the crucifix, and the tabernacle supposed to gaze upon. So it's a long answer to the question and to the request, but at this time, we go into address that by first taking care of the lectors better, to ask our lector to do a better job and to fix up our sound system, and we're going to print it out in our bulletin so that you could go follow along. Make sure we're going to print it out with a large print so that our people could see it. All right, Debbie and Ron, got that? Awesome. Yes. So we have about 5 minutes over the time limit now. If you are not holding it too long, I know you want to go to the restroom. Maybe we'll take one last question before we dismiss for a beautiful picnic we're going to have. Yes?
Following up on that question, will the new sound system in the new church have assisted technology for people who have hearing aids so that they can hear
I think
better?
we should have it, yes. We're going to design the brand new sound system. We're going to spend about at least $50,000 or so to upgrade our system and new speakers and whatnot, and that's definitely going to be part of that design. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I want to thank you, the team, and all the people who helped to make this happen. And let me say a few words before you go. We already have Vietnamese sandwich prepared for you over there at the picnic area, and please go and enjoy them. And if you already registered for different kind of food, go and check it out. All right, thank you very much, and God bless, and enjoy our lunch.